Das ist das römische Heer in seiner Formation.
We are talking about season 1 of Barbarians. Barbarians is a made-for-Netflix show, actually from Germany, and is spoken in both German and Latin. Now, this is a kind of Roman epic kind of story. It very much reminds me of the TV show Vikings, and I suspect that this show exists because of the success of the TV show Vikings, and you can feel the influence on it. And it focuses on a somewhat famous battle through the kind of Roman Empire versus the kind of the Germanic people, these kind of warring tribes that kind of band together. And our main sort of character is this guy called Arminius, who is basically a child of this Germanic sort of noble tribe that is given to the Roman Empire as a young boy, along with his younger brother, and becomes kind of like a Roman prefect. And he is then sort of tasked ultimately with kind of getting his former people in line, but he has kind of split allegiances, and you know, what will happen, you have to watch the series to find out. So, as I've said, it's very much in the same mould of the Vikings TV show, and I suspect this wouldn't exist without it, as I said. What works? Okay, so it's pretty epic. We have a very large kind of, you know, cast of extras here, and you do get a genuine kind of like sense of some good production value here. You know, we get lots of wide shots showing you the kind of the Roman legions all in their kind of the armour and standards and everything like that, and it looks pretty epic at times, I must say. I also thought the acting was very good. Sometimes it's hard to judge a kind of like a non-English acting, but I've got to say that everyone here did a good job. You know, and I watched this with the subtitles, and I felt everyone did a pretty good job here. And then there's memorable characters as well. I think the actors do a good job of selling you the kind of the personalities of these various kind of different, you know, different kind of like characters that we have here. And this is actually based off historical events. They have tweaked some things, which we'll talk about in a minute, but you know, nonetheless, you know, these are based off, or at least some of these people are based off you know, real historical figures from the past and things like that. One of the things I thought was very good is the fact that this is actually spoken in Latin for the Romans, and obviously German, albeit it's a modern German, for the kind of the Germanic people. And I joked on the kind of the preview of this, on the kind of the comment section on the Netflix channel, that it was kind of weird seeing Romans not speaking English. And but I've got to say, it does give it an authentic feel to it, and you kind of, you know, it's pretty impressive for the actors, obviously, to have performances, you know, in Latin. I thought it was very, very good, and I think they've cast the Romans particularly kind of well, especially like the kind of art of the head, kind of like, I forget his rank, but the head guy really does look like, you know, Roman in that area. And I think the movie does have some depth in character here. Arminius is kind of our main sort of character. You do feel his split loyalty, and although it's fairly clear where his true allegiances lie, nonetheless, you do feel like he does have some doubts, and some kind of like is a little bit torn about what he should do and how he should feel about kind of certain people. I thought that was all very good. It's also quite violent, and you know, it's an adult kind of show here. It runs 6 episodes, so it's fairly kind of compact. I wouldn't say there's not too much kind of like too much kind of fat here. There's just a little bit more to talk about again in just a second, but overall the quality is very high. Is there anything I didn't like about this kind of show? So two things really, I would say. I feel to give the show more of a dramatic edge, it does have some soap opera elements to it. There's kind of a love triangle here involving Arminius, kind of like this kind of warrior woman who's based on a real character, but they've kind of changed her to be much more have a much more of an aggressive role than apparently what she did in kind of real history. Did read a little bit about the kind of the characters that they're based on, and there's kind of like the love rival who is also a key figure in the series. It comes across as a little soapy for me at times, and it kind of sets up these typical kind of like frenemies sort of type relationships that you kind of have, and it just becomes a little soapy. The other kind of critique I have is the final episode. Now, we have this kind of like this big historic kind of build up to this battle in the forest. Now that is obviously based, this is a real event that happened in history, but the real event happened over the course of nearly a week, 5 or so days, I believe. But the battle in this show, you feel like it's done within about half an hour, probably about 15 minutes of actual screen time. So it kind of undercuts the battle somewhat. Now, I presume that's for budgetary reasons. It's a lot cheaper to have, people kind of monologuing, looking on into the kind of like in the middle distance and sort of talking about things. This is what the actual the final episode does quite a lot. Than kind of really showing you much in the way of battles. We see some, but it's not, this is where it goes, okay, this is a TV show, not a movie. We can't afford to have lots of kind of like extras and things like that. And the battle seems somewhat oversimplistic and a little bit too kind of like quick and easy, to be honest with you. And I think it kind of undercuts what actually kind of happened. And again, I think it's probably done for budgetary reasons, and it becomes a little bit unsatisfying because of that. But overall, the quality of the show outside of that is very high. I think the characters are good. I mean, they kind of set up for season 2 to have, the status quo somewhat changed. Again, it feels a little soapy, but nonetheless, it's a quality show. If you like Vikings, I suggest that we probably like this as well. And the production value is very impressive, regardless of some of the kind of like the clear budgetary issues from the kind of the final episode. I'll give it an 8 out of 10 for this series. I did enjoy it a lot, and I think it actually works better reading the kind of the subtitles. Didn't consider watching a dubbed version, because I feel it kind of adds to that kind of authentic flavour. So 8 out of 10, have you seen it? What did you think of it? Leave me a comment and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.